So when it comes to what's right and what's wrong, what's morally right and what's morally wrong, something like that. I mean, it's to put it in perspective. An example for you is, let's say you got a friend. This is my situation, for example. Now I have this friend, and um, I don't want to call him a friend. I mean, he's just somebody that I live with. Um, but for a lot of my life, living with him, I used to be very easygoing, and I guess more about love, you know, um, just because of the fact that it was like that was my way of being happy, my way of going about things. I just liked going about things that way. I felt very controlled, but at the same time, that was just, you know, my preference, my preference, like choice of existing, was to be easygoing, basically. Now, what happened was, um, things happened, and basically I got to a place where it's just like I hated him. Now you gotta understand something. I never actually loved him. Do you know what I mean? It's more like I loved him just to kind of get by. I mean, I loved him to be happy. It wasn't. Because I'm smart enough to know that basically everything I do is about being happy, and so I just kind of just go with that. Whatever makes me happy, I'll do that. And I think there's an intelligence there. It's I'm very in touch with not knowing what I'm doing, and I think when you make happiness, but when you kind of follow happiness, instead of trying to be smart about things, you just trying to be happy. Instead, I feel that you're not gonna get caught up in overthinking things, and because when you try and be smart, you're not necessarily happy. Um, and like I say, I'm smart enough to know that I don't know. So this idea of um, trying to figure stuff out is it's ignorant. That's where you miss the point of life. At the end of the day, you don't know, so just be happy. You know. And but it's very confusing to explain. I do try and be smart, but I also make sure that I'm happy as well. The ignorance is when you're trying to be smart, and then after you kind of just throw out happiness and just start thinking like intensely, trying to figure it out. And at the end of the day, like if you miss the point of life, it's like, I mean, you're just never gonna figure it out because I'm smart enough to know that I'm dumb. As Charles Manson said, as a kid he was so smart he learned he was dumb fast. But basically, it's like I got to a place where it was like, um, the best approach, the approach that I wanted to do, um, the approach that um, I start to hate him, and that it but like I said, it's like when I loved him, it was kind of fake. It's this thing of like, I'm basically um kind of just using people, and you know, my love for him was, just to be happy, right? And so it's kind of just more. It was just necessary because I'm smart enough to know that I don't know. So you know, and then situations arose where it's basically I just got to a place where start to hate him. If you can understand what I'm saying, you know, it's not that I ever loved him, it's, in the sense of but no, it's not all fake. It's hard to explain what I'm trying to say, but I mean, let's say that my hate, I was I guess not scared to show that I hate him. I acted out on my hatred. Let's put it that way. I don't think it's a case of I wasn't scared to show my hate. It's just the fact that it just felt right to um, hate him. It felt right to act out on it. How I really felt about him, and it's interesting because when I did that, it's like it was kind of like I felt enlightened. Like it felt like you know, it felt like what I was doing was right. Like it felt right to hate him. I mean, it felt wrong, but it was like it was so wrong that it was right. It was wrong, but it was right. You know, um, I don't really like saying it was right because like at the same time, hate is like it's wrong, and but that's what you get off on. You get off on the fact that it's wrong. You get off on it's wrong, but on a moral level, it's um it's like this thing of it's very easy in life to kind of walk through it and think that what you're doing is you know that your way is the right way, but people go a lot by feeling. If something feels um if it feels like what they should do, then they do it. But what you'll see, what you'll find is um a lot of the time, it just opens your mind up, to what is really um right, what is really right. Um, you know, this is just an example. Like I say, lots of people walk through life saying, "Oh, love is the answer and everything," and then after they realize that everyone's an asshole, and hate feels right in that moment. You know, and hate suddenly seems like the thing that's right. A lot of people look at Marilyn Manson and they go, "Oh, he's an awful, horrible person," right? Until you get bullied by everybody and everyone's an asshole to you, and you start listening to Marilyn Manson and you go, yeah, everyone is an asshole. You know what I mean? It's like a lot of it is perspective, experience, and if people don't relate with what because everyone's different in the sense of everybody's some people having a good day, some people having a bad day, you know, and people, you know, some people, you know, have different experiences in life, and everything shapes you into who you are. And you know, your ideas and your beliefs come from, you know, your experiences in life and everything. And, you know, so it's very easy to, um, you know, uh, think that your way is the best way. You know, your way is the ultimate way. um, it's very easy to think that you're right just because, you know, just because, like, whatever. I mean, lots of people might say stuff like, "Oh yeah, you're right," give you praise for your behaviors, and then after, you know. So, but if you do something, you know, like Marilyn Manson, if I don't know, if you beat someone up, for example, people could say like, "Oh, that's an awful thing," and then other people are just like, "Oh yeah, it's good because you stood up for yourself because the guy was bullying you." Whereas other people could say stuff like, "You should have just walked away. That was immature of you." Blah 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 blah. You know, so some people are gonna praise you, some people are, you know, and at the end of the day, you just gotta formulate your own opinion, and I mean, you gotta figure out for yourself what is right, what is, you know, the smart thing to do, what is the right thing to do. I should say, not smart. Oh yeah, okay. Um, I mean, in the end of the day, you should just be doing what's right. That should be your whole thing. Do what's right. Um, but yeah, it's just the fact that um, you know, so there are some things in the world that some people could say, oh, that's bad, that's wrong, you know, because maybe they're illegal, for example. But you know, just because the law says, you know, you shouldn't do it, doesn't mean, you know, it doesn't mean that it's um even wrong, you know. For example, like smoking weed. Um, I wouldn't say that smoking weed is really a big deal, you know, but it is illegal in the UK. So, but in other countries, it's legal, like America and Netherlands, you know. So, um, so that's just something to think about. All right, that's it. Bye.